Carlo Ancelotti gave an interview after yesterday's Real Madrid game and admitted that Endrick is playing so well when he comes on that he is being unfair to the Brazilian by keeping him mostly on the bench. To give you a better idea, in 6 La Liga matches for Real Madrid so far, he has only played 26 minutes of regulation time. Pero antes de continuar, por favor, deja tu like y suscríbete al canal para ayudarnos a llegar a los 1000 suscriptores. No olvides activar la campanita de notificaciones para no perderte ningún vídeo. Ahora que ya te has suscrito, vamos con la noticia. In addition, the Italian also spoke about how he sees the future of the Brazilian at the biggest club in the world. So stay until the end, as we will show you his words about the ex-Palmeiras jewel with all the details, and I want to know if you agree with his words or not. Well, folks, Endrick's evolution at Real Madrid so far has been faster than many thought, even silencing some critics both in Brazil and Spain. As soon as he arrived, he participated in those early pre-season friendlies where European teams field a mixed squad to start warming up for the official start of the leagues. He played 3 of those friendlies but did not score. Not doing well at that time was already enough for the Spanish media to take the opportunity to criticize. Check out a headline from the newspaper Mundo Deportivo at the time: Endrick so far is much ado about nothing. In his first game, he was discreet, and in the second, his first El Clasico, he went completely unnoticed. They could put up a "missing person" poster at MetLife Stadium with Endrick's face. They place a lot of expectation on him, and it's possible to see that he promises a lot for the future, but that is not always enough to play for Real Madrid. And we must not be unfair. This is something normal. It would be almost illogical for an 18-year-old kid, freshly arrived from Brazil, to make a difference as if it were no big deal. However, surely everyone expected to see something more in his first friendlies. Here in Brazil, the situation wasn't much different, with many saying he didn't have what it takes for Real Madrid, that in an attack full of stars, he wouldn't even have a chance to make his mark. After that, the season officially started, and the first matches of the Spanish league took place, where he ended up staying on the bench and not coming on. In the end, again, this was enough for the Spanish press to start questioning the signing, saying that at this rate, he would end up being loaned out, even comparing it to the situation of Victor Roque at Barcelona, who was signed but never even played and ended up going to Real Betis. But everything changed on August 25th, when in a match in the Spanish league against Real Valladolid, Ancelotti finally decided to give him a chance in the final minutes, which was enough for him to come on and score on his debut. Of course, he hasn't had the chance to be a starter in any match since then, but since that goal on his debut, the Italian has been giving him minutes in each game. As I mentioned earlier, not counting stoppage time, he has only accumulated 26 minutes on the field this season and has already scored 2 goals. In the last match, he also won a penalty that led to Mbappe's goal. In other words, we can say that he has directly participated in 3 goals in 26 minutes of regulation time. That's a great average, and considering these numbers, it would be difficult for the Spanish media to find a way to say that he isn't performing and that he will end up being loaned out. Indeed, to show you how quickly things can change, after this last good game from the Brazilian, on Sunday, the popular newspaper Marca already praised the kid, writing, "Endrick will make a lot of noise. He may not be a starter very often this season, but he can be the classic player who ultimately gives you a Champions League title, like Rodrigo in the 14th and Joselu in the 15th. He creates chaos every time he steps onto the pitch, against Stuttgart, 1 goal, against Espanyol, a penalty won and a shot that went just over the bar. The Brazilian has goals in his blood, and Santiago Bernabeu already knows that. Looking forward to seeing him against Alaves. Endrick is a football player with a privileged physique. His powerful lower body becomes a mystery for the club every time he takes the cannon for a stroll. Despite being 18 years old, the Brazilian forward has the physique of an older football player. He greatly resembles Roberto Carlos in terms of quadriceps strength and the way he finds the net. Tomorrow, Real Madrid will face Alaves at home, and since they have a tough derby against Atletico Madrid away this Sunday, some newspapers are saying that Endrick will finally have the opportunity to play a full match as a starter. Considering this, and because of the good performance of the Brazilian jewel in the few minutes he has had, today, in the press conference before the match, Ancelotti himself acknowledged the young player's qualities and told him to be patient but admitted that he is being unfair to him. Check out his words: "He is training very well, he has a lot of quality." He also said, "On one hand, I am being fair to him because he is training very well, he has a lot of quality, but on the other hand, he has Rodrygo, Vinicius, and Mbappe ahead of him. So he needs to be patient." Indeed, folks, as the Spanish newspaper and Ancelotti rightly said, we know it would be impossible for him to arrive at a club the size of Real Madrid at just 18 years old and immediately take the starting position in an attack that features Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Rodrygo, three players who already have a name and much greater experience. However, that is exactly where Florentino Perez's management experience comes into play. Mbappe is now 25 years old, and Endrick is 18. When the Frenchman turns 30 and possibly starts to decline in performance, Endrick will still be 23, an age at which a player is approaching their peak. In other words, the Spaniard knows perfectly well that he doesn't need the Brazilian to deliver exactly now, while he is also maturing and gaining experience in the club that probably knows best how to handle this aspect in an athlete. And of course, although we cannot compare his skill with other Brazilian idols like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, and even Neymar, we must not forget his star power. He scored in his first match for Brazil, his first official match with the real shirt, and also his first match with Real Madrid in the Champions League. Remembering also that due to his good performance in the few minutes he has had so far, we can already see some fans, both in Brazil and Spain, saying that it won't be long before he gets more playing time over Mbappe and soon even relegates the Frenchman to the bench. Indeed, on the day of his first goal for the Merengue club, the newspaper Marca even published a story with the headline, "Endrick steals the spotlight from Mbappe." But honestly, I personally think it's exaggerated for now to think he can take the Frenchman's starting spot this season, but I also don't doubt that this could happen in a more distant future, in 2 or 3 seasons. If you made it this far, leave your comment saying what you thought of the news, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And now I want to know from you, do you think Endrick really has what it takes to make history with the Real Madrid shirt and become one of the best players in the world, as the expectations surrounding him have always said since he emerged? Or do you think he is not all that he will end up being at most a good player, but that he won't fight for that big prize in the future, like Vinicius Jr. is fighting for today, for example? Comment below with your sincere opinion about this and why. And if you haven't seen Neymar's controversial message to Brazilian players at Real Madrid, where he allegedly criticized Mbappe, I'll leave that video appearing on the screen right now. God bless you, and thank you.